in a sense of the wide spectrum of the task that he has been designing sets and projections and light and costumes, and he has also worked in Finland in National Opera in 90s, the Tosca, which is still in the repertoire, and Fidelio are his designs for Finnish National Opera. And directing. Sorry, I forgot that. But and of course, just an anecdote. When I applied to study in VAS, he was there in admissions selecting, and he was teaching scenography in VAS. So we have a long history also from those days. Yeah. But please welcome Siegwulf Turek and give him a hand.
So, hello. Sorry, the same age like I am, probably the computers are, which I'm used to work. And so we had some technical problems. And I'm very pleased that you invited me and that I can talk a little bit to you. And so I will start with a little story, why it came to all this. So we had a problem, so forget this over there. In 1962, a 12-year-old boy in lederhosen with this short haircut is going with his mother beside the Salzburg Festival House. And there was a crowd of people standing around and with little books in their hand. And the boy said, "What are you doing there?" And they said, "We're getting autographs from the big singers and the superstars there." And the boy said to his mother, "I want to do it the same. I want to have also such an autograph book." So the mother went to the next paper shop, bought him an autograph book. And the boy went back there, and there was a big crowd of people, and he said, "Which is the most difficult autograph to get?" And they said, "Oh, no chance, this is Herbert von Karajan." So, but he's always going on the back door entrance, not on the main door entrance. So, of course, the boy stood back door. Herbert von Karajan was arriving, protected from his bodyguards, and he was coming with the Porsche. So going in, no chance. The boy stood there waiting. Karajan came out into the Porsche, gone. So this happened a few more days, and then the Rolls-Royce came, Karajan out, and went into the big festival house, and then it was a very successful rehearsal, probably. Then he came out, and the boy got the autograph of Herbert von Karajan. He did not know that he will be further his assistant sometime. And then he got 2 tickets for the dress rehearsal, and he stood there and said, "What shall I do?" And the porter came and said, "Come in, come in, come in." And the bill people brought him in the first row behind Herbert von Karajan in a big festival house, and the curtain opened, and it was amazing. And so I was sitting behind Herbert von Karajan, and I have seen in 1962 the Il Trovatore in the set of Theo Otto in the directing from Herbert von Karajan was the world best cast at this day. It was Giulietta Simeonato, Leontyne Price, Franco Corelli, and Ettore Bastianini. So it was heaven. And in this moment, I've seen this and said, "This is my world." Big, great. So I never had any problem anymore. I still have got the autograph in the first page on the autograph book, and It's a holy thing there. So then I studied scenography later on, and when I went to my professor for the test, he said, "What do you want in the future?" I said, "I want to be the chief designer of the Metropolitan Opera." And he said, "Turek spinnt. Turek is mad." This is, he told me many times later also. And so I studied, but it was so boring. It was the hell there. Painting good lines, bad lines. So I went home, I wrote a theater play, I built the model and came in there and presented it, and my professor, he made a mistake at this time. He didn't see a talent. He was laughing and showed the model and gave this love story to all the other students. They've been laughing at me. Yeah? And this did not affect me, because I said, I can do it better, I tell you. And so I studied a time, and then I heard that I did also rock and roll music, rock music. I had Hair Till Here. And a friend of mine told me, you know, they are looking for a Jesus for gospel, for the musical, and there's an audition in Vienna. I said, okay, Chuck. I went to Vienna for the audition, and they didn't take me for the Jesus part because it was already given away. And they said, would you like to work for the musical here? I said, yes, of course. When? Here you've got your ticket. Go up to Minden in Westfalen, and they are rehearsing already with the tour production. I went into the train, Salzburg, packing. My mom said, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to here. Bye. And took the next train. I was in Minden. And I was next evening, I was on stage and dancing and singing. Later on, I was Wolf and in the crowd. And then they said, hey, you studied set design. I said, yes. So they said, we need a new background for painting. And I said, no problem. So I painted a background there, and I've got in 1.5 years 476 performances of Hair. And it was really a hard school, because I could see we have had performances in Aachen on a private theater, which has been a stage which has not been bigger than this, and the Krugerhalle in Essen was 48 meters wide and huge. So I've seen how our lighting designers, how they had to change immediately the situations where we played every night in another hall. And it was a very good and a very hard school. And of course, I've got the letter from my professor that I was fired, because he planned to send me as technical assistant to the Ruhrfestspiele in Recklinghausen. But I was not interested in this anymore, because being on stage was much more beautiful. So then I quit here because the tour was on the end, and then I came back to Salzburg. So what shall I do? Okay, I go back to the university. It was Teatro Calcolo at this time, Mozarteum, and I had to go. Excuse me, and sorry, and it was not the right thing what I did, and so okay, he took me again in. And there was a pub in Salzburg where all the students and the actors and everybody was there. And I think in 2 years I missed only 2 days there. I was really sick. All the other days I've been, of course, there till the end, 4 o'clock till they closed. And so one day, for me, my big superstar was Schneider-Simpson, the designer from Herbert von Karajan, and one of the biggest masters in scenography in the world. So then there was a telephone call. My dad, come home immediately. I said, what happened? Yes, you have a meeting tomorrow with Schneider-Simpson. I said, okay. So Schneider-Simpson's assistant fell out of a bed, broke his hip, could not work, and he wanted to have one student colleague of mine, and she said, I'm not interested because I'm for the puppet theater, this is not my world, but I have Siegwulf, he loves you and he admires you, so okay, give me his number. And so next morning I came to the hotel and he said, can you build this model? It was for a change for the back wall for Don Carlo and the festival house. And he said, how long does it take? And I said, yes, 2 days, maybe. Okay, you call me when you are finished. I went home, built the model. In the evening, 9 o'clock, I called Schneider-Simpson. I said, it's finished. He said, come, show it to me. I came there in the morning, next morning at 8:30. He said, that's it. Do you want to be my assistant? I said, yes. When? He said, okay, can you pack? We are driving at 11 to Vienna. I came into the atelier. He was the chief designer of the Vienna State Opera. I came in there and he said, here's a bed in his atelier. You can sleep here till you find a flat. And here are the plans. You have to build immediately for Notre Dame from Franz Schmidt, the opera, because we are very in hurry. We are very in hurry. I lost already one day. And I sat there, was not unpacked, and started to build the model. And this was 1.5 years of the biggest education you can believe, because I could go into the State Opera in and out. I worked in the night, the time when I've seen all the performances, and it was hell and heaven, because he was a dictator, and sometimes 2 or 3 productions at the same time. And then he said, Turek, you have to do the technical drawings. I said, no, Maestro, no. This is your job, because I've seen that you have had so many mistakes in your technical drawings where the measurement was not correct. And my models have been also always, you could have photographs from it and you couldn't see different from the stage or from the model. It was in every detail, really. And so I could help that there haven't been mistakes on the stage, because when it did not fit, I told him, and then he changed it on the technical drawings, and so we saved a lot of money for the theaters, because if you have to change something, then in this huge stage, for example, the Salzburg Festival House is 36 meters wide and 9 meters high, the proscenium. The stage is 100 meter wide and it is 38 meters high, the tower inside. So it is huge. But it was my playing ground. I later made 36 productions there, and it was, for me, was always, I told you, because the wonderful students and friends which are sitting, part of them are here from West, I told them always, it's so easy to create big. Then you can dim it down to small. But if you're always thinking small, you have no power to make, there is an edge. No. And my designing was always, what I learned on the big scales. So then I made my this second production. I always had sketches. I always was ready. I've got all the operas in my mind, because it was my hobby, collecting LPs. Not with only excerpts. No, because if there are scene changes, big ones, you have to do it in the media. You have also to think how it works with the music. Here we are on. The sound gives you the optic. The optic gives you the space. So it is all together. It is only one thing. So okay. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. So it is all in one was for me the most important thing. Later on, I had then the big problem with the directors, because I had, when I started to do a scenography, I already had the whole dramaturgy in the head. It must function, it must work, it must have been not an idea or something only. No, it has to be the piece which works dramaturgically right. So and then the designers, the director said, "Make me some sketches." I said, "No sketches, models." Because you can say, cannot come, then afterwards, "Oh, I thought the door is a little bit more backwards or more forward." And I said, "No, this is there where you accepted it, and that is how they built it in the shops." And I had never problems with the theaters, because they had a perfect model, they knew what to build, and so there was no changes afterwards, which costs a lot, because the designers are great, yeah, and have no idea. We developed during the rehearsals. It cost such a fucking lot of money, so why I always said VSP, yeah, Vitu Satana Perkele. You have to be prepared, and then you can work perfect. And you have no problem. Yeah? And so I said, no, not with me anymore. I start to direct. It works. Yeah, I made my yes, that's what I wanted to say. I heard from a friend in the Salzburg Landestheater, they always do one production in the year in the big festival house in Salzburg. And so I heard from a friend, they are doing the Flying Dutchman. So I was in Geneva with my wife, and I sat there and made the designs for the Flying Dutchman, and went to the conductor, and which was yeah, our family knew each other, and I took him the designs. So this, and he said, yes, we go to the general manager, and the general manager said, I'm sorry, this is already, this production is gone. We have already engaged a director and a designer. So I said, no, leave it here, leave it. Maybe you need it sometimes. And I was doing my second production in a small theater in Coburg. And I started with the Tales of Hoffmann, a very simple work. So I jumped immediately into the deep water. And there also I have to say, I learned from Schneider-Simson lighting. Because at this time, the Scenograph did the lighting. There was no lighting designer at this time. We even didn't know what this is. And with the chief technician, the lighting master. Yeah? So I came to Coburg for this my first production, and said, yeah, how many hours do we have lighting rehearsals for Hoffmann? He said, yeah, 3 hours for. I said, what? 3 days, you mean? no, 3-4 hours. 4 acts, four light cues. I said, no. We start lighting. And they hated me at the beginning, and then later on they said, wow, this was really great. This was wonderful. And then I did the second production with this director. He was also an assistant to Karajan before, so we knew each other. And there came the call. We've been sitting and discussing something. And do you want to make the Flying Dutchman in Salzburg at the big festival house? We said, yes, of course. Yeah, because my colleague and the director, they came into this house, seen the space and said, no chance. It's too big. And I was ready. And then there's also another short thing. One of the assistants of Karajan, Peter Busse, made Salome in the big house, also for the culture days. Yeah? And I was asking, can I be your assistant? Because I want to learn directing also. And he said, yes. And there came a set from a very wonderful stage designer, Hein Heckroth, who is dead since many years. But it was an empty disc and a black back wall with a moon. And so Peter Busse said, hey, Siegwulf, you're studying scenography. Can you make some projections? I said, yes, no problem. And I went to the lighting chief and I said, how do I make projections? I've never done this. And so he said, yeah, that's very simple. Here you've got the grid, here you've got the glass, you make this, and then you paint with the projection colors. They had it in the festival house, so I started only with images, yeah? But it looked very fine. And I've done my first projections, and this was amazing. It was so beautiful how you can create things on this small glass plates. And so I then Schneider-Simpson made Frauen Schatten and Lohengrin with Karajan for the Easter festivals, and I was already honored to make back clouds, and then I made all the beams for the Swan, and so I was trained to work with Schneider-Simpson to learn how to project. And then our Flying Dutchman was there. I knew the festival house. I was welcome there, and I could work there day and night. So I've got the big where they make costumes in the summertime. I've got this big room, and I've got the glasses, and I had to paint 140 slides for this Flying Dutchman. I was the whole night going down to open the projectors, to control, because with 36 projectors to make this Flying Dutchman, this was quite a lot of work. And I didn't know what sleeping is anymore, but this was my chance. And there was the general manager, Glyn Ross, from the Northwest Pacific Wagner Festivals in Seattle. He asked me, do you want to make Tristan? I said, yes. This was my jump over the Atlantic. And it was a very, very big success. And then I said, no, I don't. It's so difficult with the directors. And then my wife called me and said, do you want to do your first directing? I said, yes, of course. What? She said, to the festivals in Madrid, Elektra, from Richard Strauss. I can do it, no problem. It's one of the most heavy pieces. And then I went there. The design was ready, finished, was built. And then I was standing first rehearsal with world superstars. But I knew them from Bayreuth because my wife was singing in Bayreuth. So we've been friends. And then came maybe you know Donald McIntyre. He's the Wotan from the sensational Ring from Bayreuth, from Cherot. And he said, Siegwulf, you tell us what you want, we do it. And it worked. It was then very simple, because if you cut this shyness for a moment, there's the big star and you do it the first time, and it worked. It was very, very well. It was a big success. And then I got the offer to do a Flying Dutchman by myself as director. And I said, the hardest thing to do is probably to work with the chorus. So, okay, jump into the water, the first rehearsal with the chorus. And then there was this union-organized mass. There's a young guy, what is he doing? What would we do? And then the conductor said, okay, Mr. Turek is doing his first directing with the chorus, and you follow and do what he wants. And this worked also, and this was the jump into the directing. And from this time on, I only did directing, set, costumes, light, sound design, everything. Because when you go in front of the curtain on the opening night, on the Ense, I put my pants down, yeah? And it's only me you can blame, and nobody else. I cannot say, oh, this is because he made a mistake or he made a mistake. No, it was all mine. But if you have then a success like this Tosca, which is now from 1995, 115 times performed and all sold out. That's good. And so this was, for me, space was always, I was always a dreamer, fantast. And when we moved to Hallstatt, in the mountains on the lake, I always had a dream to make a show on the mountains, on the lake, with water and projections and everything. And I always told our major, I said, Peter, we have to do something. He said, where shall we take the money? It costs so much. And so, but it was always in here. And one day he called me and said, Siegwulf, can you come? I have to talk with you. We are getting World Heritage City. And for this, when the UNESCO comes and give us the big document, we need a Megashow. And I said, how much money do we have? And he said, I've got a budget of 5 million Austrian shillings, which is, how much is it in euro? Around 400,000 euro. So. And I planned, and it was starting with huge fire on all the mountains, with underwater fire coming to the stage, with one laser. It was the biggest laser at this time. It was 1998. And it came from Brussels. It was only one in London, one in Brussels. And then I had on the stage lasers. We had water games. They've been so fantastic, 3 meters high, like a gardenia pump. And then huge projectors, and the stage was 20 meters by 10 meters, and we built bridges into the lake for the Pani back projections. And we've got 75,000 watt on sound, and all full of moving lights at this time. And we built up this set, and it was really, everything was planned, and the big show and everything. And we built up this tons of equipment, and the trucks with 36 degrees heat. It was so hot, And then we said, okay, tomorrow we start programming. And I heard in the morning, it didn't stop raining anymore. The trucks have been so deep in mud, and we had to change the whole ideas. And then came the thunderstorm during the show. Then it started to snow, and it was really everything what could happen. So the storm blew away the projection screen, but in this, Hallstatt was burning, all with Bengal lights and with pyro effects. This is historically when Hallstatt was burned. And this worked. And then, amazingly, the laser made a 4.5 kilometer wide tunnel over the lake in the snow. In this thing, it was the people who have been there said, we will never forget, but they've been till here in the mud, freezing. And it was so really, yeah, we couldn't change the date because the people who have been there, we couldn't make the new commercials and everything. And otherwise, for the next day, the whole equipment must have gone to Salzburg because there was the visit from the Pope in Salzburg. So they rented all this. And the Pope had got luck because after the next day there was sunshine. But this show have seen the chief from the casino in Baden near Vienna. And he said, can you make a show on the walls from the casino and light the whole park and everything? And I already edited the music for the MeLUXina show and for the Halmenia show, and then for the play of the Sense, what was called Spiel der Sinne in Baden. And it was very, very successful. It was a 20-minute show when the Operette Festival in Baden, when they have been finished, and the people came, and it was on the casino. It was very, very beautiful, but still, yeah, with this little out in the fountains, this water games, and a green laser, and it was, at this time, yes, it was great. And then came there was then the general manager from the casino in Velden on the Lake Wörthersee, and there's this very famous from the TV series, the castle on the Wörthersee. There's this hotel which was owned by Gunter Sachs, and it's a beautiful building in yellow. This doesn't matter, but one balcony after the other and one arch after the other. So, and he said, can you make a show here? And because the hotel was not existing, it was an empty building. And I said, sorry, no chance. Because I cannot project on this building because it's too many little holes and thing. And then he said, okay, thanks for coming. And we turned around, and I've seen the lake and a wonderful area. And there was a wooden thing where you go out to the water. Yeah. And there have been all these luxury boats from the millionaires there, because Velden is this millionaire place in Austria, has been at this time. So I said, why don't we make it here? He said, yes, why not? We have to ask Sachs if we can get this area, which was only empty grass. And we asked the boat owners, we give them another place on the side. This wouldn't be a problem. And they've been sponsoring us anyway. So I made my first, we've been thinking about the name, what can we call it and what can we call it? And then we called it Klangwelle, sound wave on the Wörthersee. And we started there amazingly. We've been so happy. There was the think 2 meters high, a rig, and up there was a water shield with 3 meters high and 9 meters wide. It was sensational. And then we had a beamer. This one is stronger. And for this water wall to project from the back and with painted projections. And this 3 meter high gardenia pumps. And I remember Tiffany, a fool, really a fool, not in the positive way. He came there with 5 divers, and they constructed the whole like a construction work on the buildings underwater, and to put in there this little pumps what he's got. They've been like this for this huge things, and the audience loved it. And I said, this can't be. We had 2 Macs there, and it was sensational how the gobos turned, and so on this huge water wall. And then there came a friend of mine and said, Siegwulf, I've got somebody for you. And we met, and the one Christian Leitzinger is from he was from the Technical University in Vienna, and the chief of the fire brigade in Tulln, near Vienna. And the other one, the guy, Daniel Bloyle, his father is one of the richest lawyers, because he had only one client, and this was the chief from Billa. I don't know if you know Billa, this huge Aldi Billa and all this huge supermarkets. Yeah? And if the son wanted something, Daddy, I wanted, he made big clubbings, and then he said, you know, this laser is, forget it. And also the water, we need something high. Then they went to New York, and seen on the fire brigade this huge water walls what they constructed, and they experimented 1 year and developed pumps, and every year we went bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we had all the max in the domes because the water fell down, and it was then not 3 meters water wall. The water wall was 9 meters high, no, 14 meters high and 36 meters wide, so thin, with 8 bars. Then all the pipes they constructed that you could move them like you wanted, like a ballet. You could really. This was the beginning, and a huge, huge white light laser. And so from this beginning on, I got every year I got from them a new present. I've got a wish and a vision. Next year it was there. So I said that the water cannot only go like this. I want that they are also turning. Okay. Then I said I need something. They are only 35 meters high. That's not high enough, and 100 meter wide to show. I need more. So they've got bigger pumps. The pumps have been then like this, Vogel pumps, this fat, and we shot in the minute 120,000 liters into the air, and it's the cleanest show what you can have, because it made no dirt. It was only electricity, and the water fell back down into the water. So we needed nothing extra. Of course, a lot of electric power, because with all the moving heads in the boxes, and then the very big projectors in the back, and and I painted all the slides then by hand. And we made 3 shows for 52 performances the year in the summertime. So there was always one classic, one was musical, one was rock pop, or every year we have chosen another idea. And there came every year between 250 and 300,000 people to Velden to see the show. And Velden they are clever. All the restaurants, the bars are open till the show was gone. So the people went there and have been eating, and the shops have been open. And because Velden is over the Alps, and it's warmer there, so it's a little bit like Italian climate. So they could open in the night, and they really got a lot of money, and we've got a lot of money for this show. And this show was not so expensive. For 52 performances, it costed 125,000 euros. And we had the programming for every show. We had 1 week, so the whole nights, and during the days I have been painting the slides. And I just will show you a few images from Velden. So here you see the location on the Lake Wörthersee. This have been here. Here you can see all the moving what is it? Yeah, where you shoot out the water. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 from the water pumps here. And in here, in the front, the small thing, there was the water wall, which came up like this. And in here have been the projectors and the lasers. This was the first years. And so I'm not used to this. Here you see it a little bit closer, and here you see this nozzles where you could shoot the water. And in the first year was the biggest problem we had, that what is Schlauch? Where the water goes through, yeah, the hose, yes. That it went in the night, it was so cold. During the day, it was so hot. So we had the hose broke sometimes with these fast movements down there. And they developed more and more and more with the fire brigade together, that you found hoses which worked with it. Yeah? And then I can show you some of the slides which I painted, which have been on the water wall. This was a fairy tale. This slide is this big. So for example, you could work on the slide with the effects into the water and into the water wall down there, like little rocks. Or like this. You can imagine how great this looked into the water wall, and then with all the lights inside. Yeah, and of course the sound was huge sound equipment. So this and it was going over the whole lake, and the problem was you couldn't get any entrance fee, because it was so big. The people from the autobahn, from the highway, could see it from there, and so you couldn't close this. Yeah, So it had to be free. Oh, what did I do now? Oops. This was another image. And now here you can see what it looked like with water. This was then Big Mama in the center. You will see it later on the film how it moves. It was really a ballet of water. And what did I do now? Oops. And it was really you could do a firework. You could shoot the water in seconds, yeah, and move immediately for all the next cue. You could move the directions. Then when you shoot the water into each other, it explodes, and then let it go out. And it was amazing how many cues you could do. And when we rehearsed in the night, and we've been so tired at 4 o'clock in the morning, I said, Mark, just now serve it, and we are going to sleep now. He said, yes, of course, I served this. And he moved a bit. Oh, Victor, this is great. Chuck. And we've been sitting till the sun came up. It was really such a wonderful creative process. And there was also in Felden a guy who had in Bonn, in Germany, he was Carnival's prince and very well known there. And he said, can we do this also without the lake? And I said, let's check. And I said, Daniel. No, later on in Felden, I said, it's boring now with this. I said, I've got the idea to make a flower, a big one in the center. So they started to make this octagon, yeah, with 2 circles, and in the 2 circles have been the pumps. So you could make really flowers, and in the center was Big Mama. And Big Mama was already now able to turn around like this too. So I really made these constructions from all the sides, and it was just amazing with the creativity. And then Tony said, can we do this on the Beethovenplatz in Bonn for the Beethoven Fest? I said, why not? We try. So Daniel started to design a 1 meter high water bassin, which was very, very huge. I don't know the measures anymore. And we said, we need the water there. They said, okay, it won't be a problem to get the fire brigade, and from the city we get the permission to get all the water. Good, we had this bassin. First night we started to do all the movements, and there was the underground garage from Bonn there in 2 layers. And the cars have been swimming there because we did not stop on the right position. We had to find this out. But first we shot all the water out from the firehouse. There came always the fresh water in. So then they came up, all the cars are swimming, are you crazy? Okay, but so we made it also for the indoor, let's say, not indoor, but in the city with this program. So here you see some pictures from Bonn, you see there's the Beethoven, and this was in the city. And you can see already on top what you can do when the water meets. And of course the whole light in it. It was all the moving lights and the water changes. And the moving lights, they followed the whole water beams. And it was fascinating. And there's one from the water ballet. Here you see what you can do when you cross the water. And then with the laser inside. So and the water wall was also there. And then I got a call. Yes, Mr. Turek, here is, what's his name? Forgot. Doesn't matter. It was so many things. And he said, I'm from Luxembourg Tourist Office, and we will get the Culture City of the Year in Luxembourg, and we've seen your show in Bonn. Can we have something like this? I said, of course. I need water somewhere. And then I looked into the book from Luxembourg, and then I've seen a location where I said, this would be the dream. And it is World Heritage also. It is the Boxkasematten from in Luxembourg. And there is in front the Abbey Neumünster. And when I've seen this then live, I said, that's it. 140 meters wide, 40 meters high. On this to project in 70 meters distance. So I had to split the projection here to here and one for the center. And you will see it, we're coming back to this. And the most beautiful thing was water. There is the river Alzette, which is, I think, 12 meters wide and 1.5 meters deep, full of mud. But when we left, it was clean water, because the whole thing was shut up. And this is the Abbey Neumünster. You see this huge entrance to come in, because there's in the old city of Luxembourg, there is so much space. The streets are nearly like this. And this was the old prison. I never slept better than this, because up there in the prison they have the most beautiful artist apartments. They rebuilt it, and so I could sleep up there, look from the window, which was back, but here on the floor, I could look out here, and here's the wall. So I always had this whole image in front of mine, and this is the old abbey. Problem was, it was only permitted for 3,000 people. So we had to make 10 shows. We made then 12 because the people have been running. It was free entrance, but with tickets, because otherwise it was the security it was not safe enough. And so we asked the major and the chief from from here, from the abbey, and here you see now the water, and there was another problem which we had to solve. We had this already. Yeah, you see here this bridge and the tower, which was then very important also. And we built up here, so that the audience couldn't see it, a big rig where all the projectors have been. So I used 4 BP6 gold projectors, the strongest Panis at this time, 2 BP4 Pani projectors, and then over here we had 2 small Pani projectors, 2.5 Ks for the water wall then. Yeah. And the problematic thing was for this production still, because it belongs to the monks, and now this is the River Alzette, but we will see this more. Here have the monks a historical garden, and on this historical garden they grow historical plants. So it was a very fragile situation, because I had to bring into this garden all over. I had to bring in the moving heads, and we had here up there on the wall, and back there on the other wall behind here, we had 16 city colors, the very huge ones, and we had here the projection place. Then I projected also on the tower. Then I said I want to have a high beam up from the tower, so they had to bring the pump in with a long hose up there. And so when this was all planned, we had to find an aggregate for this electricity. And also this was to solve. And then came the trucks, and the trucks couldn't come in to the old city. So we had to unload, I don't know, of over 50 tons of equipment in smaller trucks, and then we had to bring this in from back through this small door. We had to bring the whole equipment in. And then this was solved. Then they came and said, we have a French company, and the French company could help us here and a bit here. And I said, no, please not. The sound can come from Luxembourg, but the whole light, water, laser equipment comes from Vienna. Because it is you've seen this problem what we had before with the cables. It doesn't connect here, we need things, and this was from France, then they don't understand each other, and so it would be chaos. And I said I had only 2 weeks to make this 20-minute show. And then they accepted this also. And then was the problem, what kind of show are we doing? And I read the story from Luxembourg that the mermaid MeLUXina, she was living there in the Alzette, and the Prince Sigmund came there and seen her and married her, and she said, yes, but when she is in the night in the bath, he shall never look through the door keyhole. And he accepted, and he built up for her the Luxembourg, and then he wanted to see what's happening there in this hour when she's bathing, and then he looked through the keyhole, and the whole thing, he has seen that she's a mermaid. During the day she was normal, and she had to leave, and then, but Luxembourg was still there. So we had ideas and said, let's call it Fontania, or how can we bring light and water into the name? And Claude Frisoni, a very good, famous French actor, he's the chief from the Luxembourg, from the World Heritage Place. And we've been so playing with words and words, and said MeLUXina, and with one moment, I don't know who, one said MeLUXina, lux for the light. I said, that's it. And so we called it MeLUXina, and I started immediately with the designs. So, and now, when you remember the big wall back there, I had to think about all the holes up there which are in the wall, where the trees are. Here are the holes. All the thing, you see the bridge up here. Here the tower. So here's the tower. So I made all these projections with in the design. So this is the appearance of MeLUXina. Then when Sigismund came, he was there, and you see over there with dark clouds. It was all these things in the rock. Then when it started to be the castle with the water falling down, and then when she had to disappear, you see now this was a imaginary garden thing, and when she had to disappear from this world, it was this, when she had to walk up to a fairy tale world. So this was very great, and then we showed this to the chief of ING, to the bank, and he said, okay, we sponsor it alone, we don't need any other money, you do us one performance for us as a private party. It is cheaper than if we engage any superstar or something, and this is something new. So this was a wonderful deal, and we made it, and then we started with the building up the show. You see here was then the projection towers. Now we put in with a crane the platforms. Here was the second one, where the water, the pumps have been hanging underneath with these big cans, so it was swimming, and we flew it in, and here was done already for the projectors and for the lasers. Here you see then the bridge, and with the flower. The first ones have been here. The flower have been in the center. Here have been the panis with the projectors for the water wall. Here have been the projectors over there with a 70 meters distance. So I could project images 70 by 70, and Here I have an image from the side, how it looked in there. And here you see the old gardens. Yeah. It was a very fragile project. And yeah, and I don't know, I'll only show you one slide, which was then in the water when she had to leave. And you see these images, like on the design. And the head of MeLUXina was not even 1 centimeter wide, this here. So it was really filigrane working. Here, for example, you see the soldiers coming. They've been 1.5 millimeters. This was quite a lot of work, painting the slides. And this is, for example, then the castle with the water. Yeah. See, it was possible to make it exactly like on the designs. And this 140 meters wide. So and here is MeLUXina. No, not the down one, the back one. And Claude Fries, yes, now I remember the name. He was from the Luxembourg city. And this was the whole crew. We made it together in every night. It was a really big success. And then they asked us, can you make a second one? And I said, of course. And I designed already for the next year, 2008, and there was the Sparkasse, then the main sponsor, and then came this bank crash, and then they said, sorry, we haven't got the money. We have the money, but we cannot say we have it, and we are crashed. And this was the same what happened to me. Then I should do it for the country garden show in Rosenheim, and the main sponsor should have been Siegfried from Siegfried and Roy, because he is from Rosenheim, and the other was BWV. And then BWV said, we are going to do it, and I'm happy that they said we have to kick out 5,000 people, and we cannot put a few millions in this project because it was in the River Inn, and the whole construction would have been 100 meters in the diagonal, and we had to promise that it goes out in 8 hours if high water comes. And this was this year. We had already constructed it so that we can click it out immediately, and the helicopters from the army, the really huge, heavy helicopters could fly it out. And then came this high water. In 4 hours, the inn was 6 meters high. So we would have lost everything. It would have been broken down. So sometimes it was good. But the idea was so great. It was for me wonderful to construct this, to create this. Yeah. So and this was then MeLUXina. And if you give me just a few more time, then I'll show you the film of the show. So, thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.